Hey guys, Captain Valen here. I want to start off with a little disclaimer for this. Obviously, this is my review of Wano and things pertaining to it, but I want to start off by saying I don't think Wano's for us. I think Wano is a bit of a love letter to his Japanese fans, to the culture that he grew up in, the movies he loved, the art that he grew up respecting, obviously, like the ukiyo-e art that's already shown his head, the various myths and things like that. I've got a little cheat sheet with me this time so that I can help myself get names and do things like that. But I haven't, bless me, I haven't figured out all the editing stuff yet, and I don't want to do something choppy and ugly. So I'm going to figure it out. But for now, everything's in one take, or at least as best a one take as I can do. All right, but I want to talk about Furnosuke the Carpenter. That's just fitting, straight up and down. That's what he does. It doesn't make any sense for him to do anything else. That was totally fine. Uso Hachi being a little toad oil salesman and a little shyster, that makes perfect sense. It's hilarious to me. The whole way he's like, oh, look, and it's fine. We all know it's probably ketchup because he has tons of the ketchup stars and stuff like that. Like, I love it. It's great. Orabi, beautiful artwork, hands down. Like, the hardest thing to actually do out of the entire group so far is work their way up in that aspect. So, like, respect to that. And Sanjuro. Now, this one's one of my favorite. Sorry. Oh, I gave it away. Zorojuro. I think it's a play on the Akira Toriyama movie Sanjuro because Zoro uses three swords. He's usually accompanied with, the letter 3, San. So, yeah, Sanjuro. I think that's a nice little nod to everybody. But other than that, I'm going to get into the other stuff. Okay, I'm going to break down the review by character development, pacing, setup, fun, and fights. Really that simple. I'm not going to, get too deep into it, but those are some important aspects of a shonen manga, and that's really what I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to start with character development. A lot of people think there really hasn't been any, but I beg to differ. We've shown the passive use of haki from Luffy to all the exposition on Wano from Tama and all the re-exposition of the swords from the Tenguyama guy. So yeah, there's been some information. It's not as deep as we want, and I think that's the problem. We got so used to like Reverie. Oh, Reverie just crammed the information in there, and it really kind of went to prove how much information can really be shoved into a chapter, and then we kind of like really liked it, and now it's not happening, and we're like, oh. I know I am. I'm sad. I would love more exposition, but that's me. I love world building. Like, the more intricate you can understand how things work, the more you start to like piece things together, and that's such a huge part of the One Piece fun, in my opinion. But also, I love Tama. She's adorable, but I don't think she's ever going to be a Straw Hat. Sorry, guys. She's going to stay on her island and hopefully make it better. Like, she's going to help Wano grow alongside Dragon Boy. Not to be confused with Luffy's father. We all know who I'm talking about. No one else can. I call him Dragon Boy because he's a Dragon Boy. I believe he ate a human fruit model baby, or boy rather, and I know it's weird, but not all of a child's memories are correct. So that's going to be wrong. I know it, but that's okay with me. I'd rather have a fun idea and be wrong than be right all the time, if I'm being incredibly honest. A fun idea keeps the mind at work. But yeah, character development. Also, the embrace between Luffy and Zoro. Absolutely, absolutely, I love it. Luffy throws himself pretty much full grip around him and is like, what's up, buddy? And I love it. It's absolutely one of my favorite things. So, yeah, that's the character development. Alright, now we're going to talk about pacing. And a lot of people have complained about the pacing, but I see it a little differently. I see it as a subtle homage to the old samurai films that he probably grew up with. Films that in the opening it's a fast-paced fight where somebody dies and things kind of like happen really quick and you don't get a full understanding of a picture, but you get an understanding of what you want to happen, what you want to understand and what is going to happen later. And that's what all this is. Like, we're meeting a headliner, but it's not going to be the right one. Obviously, X-Drake is going to be the headliner that's, real, real tough. Like, Hawkins has a different plot purpose, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be just to read Luffy's cards. Like, they're going to fight, and he's going to die a half dozen times, but he's going to read the cards, and I think that's important. But, again, I feel like it's going to pick up later when the main character is introduced. And by that, I don't mean Luffy, because obviously Luffy's the main character of One Piece, but I mean the main character for the arc. The way that I feel like kind of Pudding was the main character for the arc in Whole Cake Island. The way the plot kind of picked up and quickened, and a lot of exposition was given once she was introduced and things like that. The way she kind of came in slow, and her rise and actual development and character, that kind of, to me, made her feel like I don't want to say ancillary because that's not the right word, but the secondary main character for the Whole Cake Island arc. So that's just one man's opinion. But when we meet that person in Wano, that's when things are going to get real interesting. We're going to get a bit more, and I know you're probably thinking it's Tama. I don't. I think Tama's the introduction. I think it's going to change. I don't have anything to back it up. I just feel like it's too early to introduce that person. I think Tama is going to serve as a bridge not only to Ace, but to kind of whatever happens next. And then the other main person, some retainer or whatever, is probably going to take over or something. Maybe more ninjas. Who knows? But that's kind of what I think for the pacing. It's going to end up playing out like an old samurai movie. And I think that's going to be another one of the subtle nods that we're not going to get that might not be wasted on the Japanese readers. So, yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about the various things that have been set up, like the Katetsu blades. All the stories and lore behind them kind of get to come into play a little bit. We know it's a cursed blade. We don't know much else, but now we know that Luffy and Zoro have one, and they're right next to each other. I think in the fight that's coming up, Luffy is going to be more of a menace with that sword than Hawkins and his entire gang, and Zoro probably going to have to take it from him and figure the whole thing out, which will lead me into probably my favorite idea I've had, and it's probably because I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and when they melted down ice to create Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail, I loved it. It was a really powerful part of the books. So yeah, oh man, my chair is being squeaky. Sorry about that. I really like the idea that it was a much larger sword, and it was, melted down to create these to mitigate the power of the sword and to mitigate the curse a little bit. Probably like some kind of demonic curse or something like that. And the right person, Zoro, demons, duh, wielding it would probably be prophetic in some way. So that's one of my favorite setups. Another really good setup is the fact that Tenguyama can't go into town, and neither should Tama there, but obviously she's going to. And I really like that because you obviously know that for some reason Tenguyama's going to go to town. Something's going to happen. That's just all there is to it. It's just easily foreshadowed. So I can't wait for that. Next, we're going to talk about fights. While there haven't been any per se, we did get to see Zoro cut a building and a man pretty much clean in half with a butter knife-esque situation in length. Maybe a little longer, but not long enough that it takes away from how impressive the act is. I know people are already calling that a feat for him, but not really. That wasn't anything. He didn't even try. He just did that. You know what I mean? He grabbed his stuff and just hauled out of there. So, yeah. But I know everybody's like, well, there was the fight with Hawkins that's coming up, and yeah, that's what we want. I want to know what his powers are. I don't care what really happens in the fight so much as we get a little bit of exposition and maybe a name about what the fluffernutter his devil fruit is. Because if I don't, I'm going to blow a gasket. It was one of the more unique devil fruits that I've seen, and that's saying something. And I really like it. And I think the reason he kept it specifically for Wano is because it's some specific kind of like yokai or something, like a scarecrow come to life, and that's going to be the name. Probably not Kakashi. That's, you know, a little joke, but I think it's going to be dope, and I cannot wait. The thing is about this fight, I think like I said, Luffy's going to be more of a menace. That sword is going to go bananas. He's probably going to end up like cutting Zoro, like hurting the animals, which Luffy normally wouldn't do. You know what I mean? Maybe even if that girl's still there, not totally run away. He might even hurt her, or maybe accidentally going to hurt her if Zoro doesn't do something, which he will because he's awesome like that. So yeah, I think the setup for the fights and everything have been okay, but I want to see what his powers are. I don't really care. I don't think. Also, X-Drake versus Zoro for the end of this. What do you guys think? I think it's gonna be pretty fun. I like the X-Axe he has. I think it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that really leaves me to the end of this. So please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm really new to this. This is going to be the first video I edited. I think I said I wasn't going to edit in the first video, and I ended up just changing my mind. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you guys again. Bye.